My father taught me how to play chess when I was around 10 years old. He taught me what he knew: war. He couldn't teach me peace. He didn't know it. My father carried pain that was never held. When pain is not held consciously, it looks for a stage and expresses itself unconsciously. Sometimes it turns inward as withdrawal, depression, or anxiety. Sometimes it turns outward as control, domination, and war. I loved playing together. It didn't matter what game. I cherished our shared time and every chance to have his attention that wasn't criticism or contempt, to be in the presence of his light side. But after I started winning, he withdrew and stopped playing with me. The board became unsafe for him once I could meet him as an equal. To him, my growing competence did not feel like joy. It felt like a threat, as if my becoming threatened what little balance he had. He had to be better at everything. Much later, I could see that my father was not cruel by intention. He was acting from a broken heart that had never been mirrored or healed. He was hurt, lacking in confidence and desperate to assert dominance and superiority. Until then, I felt that he saw me as unworthy and weak, as unmanly. That injured my self-confidence. I couldn't recognize my own beauty and value. It bred anger and resentment. At the same time, I still loved him deeply as the man who gave me life, and as someone who also carried beautiful qualities: funny, wise, creative, and spontaneous. I had no living model of steady, mature masculinity that could bless and make room for another. What both my father and I lacked was initiation. No one had shown us how masculine power is meant to be shaped, disciplined, and handed forward. Without initiation, the father experiences the son not as a continuation to be blessed, but as a threat to his own fragile authority. By the end of my 20s, I saw what I couldn't see before. I understood something simple and profound. My father wasn't acting out of strength, but out of weakness. He was a man carrying a lot of pain and chaos and unconsciously acting it out in the world, in his relationships and in his worldview. I was in participation mystique with my mother's image of my father. I saw him through her lens, and her feeling-toned attitude towards him became my own. It constellated in me a regressed feminine position, passive, self-abandoning, prone to depression. As I differentiated from the mother complex, I could finally meet my father as a man, not only as father. It helped me not expect him to be someone other than he was, and to accept that no man is perfect, no father is perfect. That honesty made room for forgiveness and for a warmer feeling towards him. My father did his best within the limits of his woundedness. Seeing that helped me let go of much of my anger. His superiority was not strength. It was a false self built to avoid collapse. It turned vulnerability and inferiority into a persona of superiority. There was another absence I could name only later. My father did not persist. He did not stay with studies, creative work, or habits that require patience and repetition. When things became challenging, familiar, or demanded discipline, his interest faded. What looked like freedom was often an inability to endure the ordinary weight of effort. Without persistence, strength has no spine. I believed this persona was what a true man was. I couldn't identify with it. I was sensitive, introverted, and full of self-doubt. I came to see that what he deemed weak and unworthy in me was what he projected from his own rejected sensitive side, the part he was never allowed to be. That's when I understood something else. It didn't represent men or masculinity. Masculinity wasn't a violent, harsh, judging, impatient presence. He represented the masculinity that never matured into blessing, centeredness, and calm. Seeing that was a redemption of masculinity for me, and a reconnection with its light side. It ignited in me a deep will to become a mature man, to embrace and develop the inherent masculine potential in me. I began taking responsibility for the masculine I embodied. For the first time, I realized that acknowledging, holding, and expressing the hurt, vulnerable, rejected parts of myself was not weakness. It was courage. It was love. It was strength. The strength to stay present without fleeing or hardening. I was strong enough to do it voluntarily, in a way my father could not. I could mourn what was never given to me. I could allow myself to acknowledge and feel the intense sadness that lived in my depth, grieving the years of being rejected, misunderstood, without guidance and without love that would see me as I am and encourage me to embrace myself. This morning, this surrendering to the hidden pain that needed attention and expression helped my heart open again. I also came to understand that only when the warrior, the aggressive capacity of the personality, is consciously integrated, can a person truly face struggle, pain, discipline, and mission. Without it, we flee, deny, or collapse. With it, we can bear reality and work with it. I could see that aggression is not inherently bad. It can be channeled for the good, for protecting what matters, for work, for growth and persistence. Aggression can be a sword in the service of good, not a weapon against the intimate. When aggression is not claimed consciously, it turns against us. When it is claimed and disciplined, it helps us to structure and build the practical side of life, and so we can better root ourselves in the deep. That drove me to begin building my own masculinity, with a newfound appreciation for its beauty and significance, for myself and for those around me. It made responsibility unavoidable. I stopped trying to win my father's game, stopped measuring myself by a board that was built for domination. The deeper wound was that love felt conditional, as if closeness depended on me staying smaller. Many of us grew up inside that contract. Be good, but not too good. Be strong, but not strong enough to threaten the fragile throne. And then we grow into adults who are still negotiating with an inner harsh judge. We either become hyperachievers, trying to earn our self-worth, or we sabotage our own growth because success is dangerous. Because if we will shine, we will be attacked. If I become myself, I will be punished. This is the repetition compulsion, the psyche replaying childhood conditions in adult life, hoping this time it will end differently. This is why the same painful patterns return again and again. Healing does not come from denial. It comes from refusing the old game and practicing a new pattern until it becomes natural. We can give the inner child in us what the adults in our lives could never give. For me, it meant paying more attention to the part in me that asked for imagination, play, spontaneity, while also taking the practical side seriously. A vision and a plan, daily rituals, effective work routines, and persistence that overcomes temptation and resistance. I had to learn how to play again and how to work. I had to accept my limits and give up my perfectionism. To do good work and then release it. To finish and not keep working out of anxiety. To let good enough be good enough without the never-ending pressure of you could have done better. This is an image of mature masculinity many of us were never shown. A steadiness that does not need to dominate. a strength that can listen without imposing itself, a spine that can hold boundaries without shame, a capacity to bless someone else's becoming without feeling diminished by it. So here is a small but potent practice. Choose one arena in your life, one board where you try to prove your worth. Work, body, relationship, art. Bring into that arena one attitude. I do not have to win to be worthy. I do not have to dominate to be safe. I can be strong and still be kind. Stick with it while finishing the task, sending the email, doing the workout, holding your boundary without forcing, letting the work be seen. When the inner judge says, do more, prove more, it's not enough, you're not enough, you can answer, I hear you. I refuse the old contract. I'm not competing for love. I am worthy. I am enough. I will grow and improve from choice, not from fear. We want to mature into centeredness, to connect with the inner authority, to be strong enough to fight only for peace and not to just engage in war. This is how we can transform our lineage, not by rejecting the father, but by recognizing and embodying what could not be carried through him. The psyche seeks completion through us, carrying unfinished patterns across generations. When one person grows more conscious and chooses maturity, the entire field, the collective psyche, is affected. You can be that person. If you're struggling with these patterns in your life and want to work with them directly, I invite you to meet. It can be one deep session or a longer journey together. I'll put the link in the pinned comment. And if you want to do this work in a shared container, I also hold small groups, a confidential space where we can speak honestly and be seen as we are, in the company of kindred spirits. Thank you for being here and for your precious attention.